Hey everyone, welcome back. If you're new, welcome to the community. My name is Kaylene Joseph. I'm a Manual Osteopath. I'm a wellness clinic owner of Happy Bones Osteopathy and Wellness Clinic in Newmarket, Ontario, Canada. Today is an exciting day actually. So we are going to do our first formal YouTube OsteYoga run through. So those of you who've been following along for the past, year and a half, OsteYoga is something I sort of coined last year when the pandemic hit in March 2020 as a way to be able to still connect with my community. So I did a lot of Facebook and Instagram lives of just running through quick, 20 to 40 minute classes of OsteYoga. So what is OsteYoga? Well, I coined this term because I do have my teacher training in yoga. And from an osteopathic standpoint, as a manual osteopath, I started sort of creating classes based on the need of the body. So I imagine if my patient came in to me and said, I'm having some hip issues, what exercises, stretches, things like that could I take them through if I wasn't able to get my hands on them? So this is kind of it. So we combine yoga with the knowledge that I have as a manual osteopath and smack it together, and hopefully this helps you. So today we are going to focus on the hips actually. So we're going to run through a series of different exercises. We're going to start with a warm up to really warm up the hip joint, and then we're going to go into some deep stretching after. So by no means is this your traditional yoga class, but it does have a bit of a yoga feel, and we'll get to those later on as well because I do love teaching a good yoga class. So not to worry, all that stuff is coming within time as we add to these videos. So again, thank you so much for being here. Let me know how it goes. Let me know how you like it. And let me know if you have any requests for next time. Here we go. All right, my friends, so we are going to start, like I said, with really warming up the hip socket and whole hip area so that we can have it nice and warm before we go into a nice deep stretch and we work out whatever the heck is going on in there. So we're going to start with internal, external rotations. If you've done some of my other hip videos, you will know that this is really a go-to, and this is more working mobility, but also just bringing some heat into that joint and really warming it up before we get into it. So what you're going to do is you're going to sit up nice and tall, pull that butt flesh out from underneath you. If you find it difficult to sit up tall, sit against a wall. No worries, we can modify as we go. So there's no harm in doing that. In fact, I'd rather you do that than hunch over the whole time. So if you can sit up nice and tall, shoulders on your back, good, away from your ears. The feet are coming out in front of you. Soles of the feet are flat on the floor. The knees are pointed up and they're about hip width apart, just a little bit wider than that. So find a nice width that feels good within your hips. We're going to start with internal rotations, then we're going to move to external. And we're going to aim to do 10 internal, 10 external on both sides. So what that looks like is, and if you need to, just tense your fingers behind you, give yourself some extra support. That internal rotation is going to be your whole leg, knee, and foot moving in towards the midline of your body, in towards the left leg as far as it can go until you feel some restriction. And we are working through that. So we're going to aim for 10. Sometimes I'm not the greatest at counting when I'm talking, but you know where I'm going with this. So in we go. I think that's 5. So while we're doing this, it's really important to make sure the sole of the foot is following along with the leg. Like I said, we want to isolate the whole leg, not just part of it, so that we're really getting into that hip joint and really working it. So the sole of the foot comes up, as you can see. So external rotation is going to be quite the same, except of course we are moving externally. So that knee is going to open up towards the side, sole of the foot comes out, so the outside edge of the foot is only in contact with the floor. And then we come back to neutral and we move through it again. So you're going as far as your hip is going to allow you. Don't force this. Like, just work within wherever your body is at today. There is no competition here. There's no prize for whoever has the best range of motion, because I mean, I simply can't see you to even judge that. So good. Keep moving out. Good. And we'll do 2 more on this side, and then we're going to go right over to the other side. So internally coming in, so you may find that one side is a little more restricted than the other, and for me that's definitely my left. So moving in and out of that motion, we're really breaking it down here, in between, like separating the internal and external rotation. So here we go. 3, good, 2, last one, and then coming back to neutral and coming through the external rotation. Again, squeezing those shoulder blades behind you, sitting up out of your hips. Good, shoulders fall away from your ears. You're nice and supported. Amazing, you guys, you're doing great. Good. Awesome, let's go. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, all right, coming back to center. So give your legs a little bit of a shake. We're gonna go into a little butterfly flutter. So bring the soles of your feet together in front of you. If this feels difficult, you can bring your feet a little bit away from your pelvis, okay, to give yourself some more space. If that's easier for you, that's great. If you want to feel a little bit of a stretch too while you're doing this, bring the heels in closer to the pelvis. So we're going to go through just a little flutter. So there's nothing aggressive about this at all. It's very gentle. We're just getting the circulation going, getting our joints to wake up in that area, and just getting a little bit of movement into the area. Perfect. So keep fluttering up and down. And we're gonna go 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Great job. Okay, so coming in to a frog. If you find this difficult, I'm going to advise you to go back to a butterfly and just come into a gentle stretch. So that means hinging your upper body forward from the waist. So you can press in with your elbows. That'll be my modification, but try this one out. If it's too tough, go back to just a simple butterfly stretch. So with the frog, we are going to come on to our tabletop position, and then we're going to bring our knees out nice and wide. The big toes are going to touch. So you kind of look like a frog. Actually, the heels can come together as well, instead of the big toes touching. So that kind of looks a little more like a frog. And then if it's comfortable for you, you can come down onto your elbows and start to sit your butt back towards your feet. You're going to feel a big stretch within your inner groin and your hip area on the inside. Good. And just basically just working with the width that you naturally have in your hips. If you have good range of motion, really flexible hips, maybe you were a dancer, all of that great stuff, this is going to feel really good for you. This is actually an old dancer move that we used to do. I was a dancer before, and we used to do this to work our turnout, which is the range of motion in your hips as a dancer, and you see dancers' feet pointing outwards. Well, that comes from your hips. So this is a really good one. So start to incorporate a little bit of a rock back and forth into it, just to bring some blood flow and movement into it. Good. And we're gonna rock back with 5, 4, 3, 2, last one, nice and easy. If you're on your elbows, bring yourself up, bring your knees back in, maybe bring them in front of you, give them a little shake. Good. And from here, we are going to go into some nice deep stretching. So we're going to start off with a downward facing dog. So you're going to come into a tabletop position. Good. Shoulders over the wrists and the hips are right over the feet. And what's going to happen is you're going to tuck your toes under. You're going to shoot your hips all the way up towards the ceiling, extend through those back legs, and press your chest through your arms. So the thumb and index finger are pressing into the mat behind you. Heels are reaching towards the floor. It's okay if they don't get you there though. That takes many, many years of practice. Good, and really, really reach, blossom that bum up towards the ceiling. So if this is your first down dog of the day, you're feeling kind of stiff, feel free to pedal your feet or walk the dog as they call it. Good, keep pressing into those fingertips, pressing the floor away, really squeezing those shoulders together and opening through that chest. Awesome. From here, we are going to kick our right leg up towards the ceiling. We're going to bend at the knee and we're going to open our hip out towards the right side of the room. So we're working the right leg, and this is called fire hydrant. So it's like the dog going up towards the fire hydrant, if I don't have any better imagery for you. And we're really just opening up through the hip. So flex through that right foot. Good, keep stretching and pressing that chest through the arms. Stretch through that back supporting left leg. Good, and take a breath as you exhale. Come on down. Good, still in that downward dog. We're gonna kick that left foot up towards the ceiling. I'm sure we're probably losing the whole frame of my leg, but hey, that's all right. Good, bending at the knee, flexing that left foot, and opening that left hip up towards the left side of the room. And so there is a little bit of a twist that happens in the upper body. Try to fight it a little bit. Try to keep your upper body square and keep opening up through that hip. You're going to start to feel a nice big stretch along the side of that hip and even into that supporting inner right leg. Good. One more deep breath here. And exhale. Come on out. Walk the dog, walk it out a little bit. Keep pressing into those hands. Remember that index finger and thumb are glued to your mat. And from here, we are going to take our right foot, swing it up and through in between the legs into a lunge position. So we're going to move into our dragon pose, I guess you could call it. I'm just going to switch around here so you can see. So that dragon pose, we have our right leg in between both hands. I want you to just step it out towards your right hand. Bring your hand onto the inside of your right foot. And you may be feeling a big stretch here already. So if you are, that's amazing. Keep up with it. But if not, you can start to lower your elbows. And that right knee is going to start to open up towards the right side of the room. The right sole of the foot is going to tip up. So feel that nice big stretch. If it's too much for you, which I'm feeling like it is for me today, that's fine. But keep that opening up through the right hip in that leg. Knee points out towards the right. Keep that strength in your back left leg. You should be on your back toes, left toes. Good. Press into those shoulders. Press the palms of the hands into the mat. Amazing. And come on back into your downward facing dog. Good. Walk it out. And from here, we are going to go into the left side. So the left leg swings up and forward in between both hands. Tiptoe it out towards your left hand and then bring your left hand in to the inside of that left foot. So again, really reaching through that back right foot. Good. And whatever works for you here. Drop to your elbows if that feels good. Let the left leg tip out towards the left, sole of the foot gently comes up, or stay on your palms, but keep that left leg opening out towards the left. Feel that stretch, feel the burn, feel the fire burning up inside of you. I mean, I'm starting to sweat under these lights, but it's always good to get a little bit of the sweat on. Awesome. Step that left leg back into your down dog and walk it out. Amazing. And so we're going to come back into a lunge, and just for the purpose of showing you, I'm going to start with my left side. So my left leg is going to swing through in between my hands. It's going to stay there this time, and we're going to drop that back right knee and this top of the foot onto the mat so everything is in contact here. So we're into a low lunge. Feel that stretch through the hip. So you really want to start to lean in to that front left knee. You're going to prop yourself up, and you can really start to lean forward, which is going to give you a nice big stretch down the front of your right hip. Breathing into it. Deep breaths here. Good. Feel that opening up. Amazing. 2 more breaths. Slow it down. Slow your breath down. And when you're ready, bring both of your hands forward again. Tuck that back right foot. Good. Press up through the back leg and back into your downward facing dog. Pedal it out. Bring that right foot up when you're ready. We're going to swing it through however you'd like. Get that sole of the foot in between your hands. Drop the back left knee. Top of the left foot comes onto the mat. Good. And bring your gaze forward. Take a few deep breaths here. Good. And when you're ready, come on up onto that supporting right leg and really feel that stretch through the front of your left hip. Deepen. Take a few deep breaths and really sink into that front knee. Good job. This is such a yummy pose. This is so good, especially if you're sitting all day in a flexed position in a chair. This is like literally the opposite of what you do all day. So if you do that all day, you should probably try to do this at least once during the day. Good. Deep breath in. And exhale. Good. Come on back down. Tuck that back left toe under. Pop up off of that left knee. Nice and strong back leg. Good. And step that back, right foot back to meet the left. Awesome. And then we're going to come down to a seated position. So we're going to do a little log cabin stack, which can be tough. So those of you who have really, really tight hamstrings and your knees are up like this, if you have a yoga block or a towel or a bolster, make sure to pop them under your legs just to give you a little bit of extra support when going into these stretches. So you're going to bring your left leg out on a 90-degree angle. The foot stays flexed. From there, we're going to fold the right leg over, so it's on top. The right foot is on top of the left knee, and we're gonna try our best to bring it into a 90-degree angle as well. This is a tough position. So you can see there's a lot of space between my right knee and my left foot. They're not stacking up perfectly beautifully. That's okay, because you should feel quite a big stretch happening within your hip, mostly within that right hip. You'll feel it on the left, but the right, I'm feeling it a little bit more. And I even feel it into my glute. So keep those feet flexed, keep the energy in the legs, and then you're gently going to just tip your upper body and your chest a little bit forward, hinging forward, just to intensify that stretch. So I'm really starting to feel that through the glute and into my right hip joint. We're going to take a couple nice deep breaths here. Really breathe into it. Good. Maybe inch yourself a little bit further forward. Try to keep that back nice and straight. We're not completely curling into it, but we still want to have some length in the back to really get a good stretch into those back glutes. So walking yourself back up, nice and easy. Unfold the legs. Oh my gosh, that is tender. Give them a little window wash, crazy legs, whatever I need to stop talking, but you get the point. Bring that right leg in front of you, okay? Foot is flexed. Cross the left over the right. So your left foot is on top of the right. Good. You want to try to keep the shins in line. Again, there is lots of space between them. This is not stacked like a perfect log cabin. Good. And start to hang on into that stretch. So feel it, your body start to ease into it. Take a few deep breaths here. Good. Really lengthen up through your back and start to hinge forward. And I like to do this into two separate little sections where I just ease into that forward fold. And then once my hips and my glutes are kind of like, oh, this is where we're going, then I deepen it. So I kind of just ease them into it. Sometimes that's the trick, you know, we don't always have to force things. Our body does like some ease from time to time. So take a nice deep breath in here. Good, and one more. Good. And then really start to fold forward. Try to keep that chest nice and open towards the front of the room where you're facing. Don't forget to keep those feet flexed. I always like to keep energy the best I can in my whole body while we're stretching, so everything should be working. That's why you often see me tent my fingers, because I want my everything from toe to fingertip working in each stretch. Good, and nice and easy. We are going to slowly unstack our log cabin. Oh my, lots of little cracks and pops in here. Good. Window wipe. Finally said it right. Your legs back and forth like window wipers on your car. Glad I could finally articulate that sentence. Good. And then we are going to, last but not least, come into a cow pose position. So you may have done this with one of the other videos. You're going to come onto your back, and you're going to cross your left foot right over your right, kind of like you're sitting like a girly girl or someone who crosses their legs right over when you're sitting. I always think of like a Barbie doll with heels on. It's kind of weird imagery. Anyways, so left leg is crossed right over that right, nice and tight in. You're going to bring both knees up towards your chest. So this is option number 1. If you feel a good stretch in your left glute and hip, that's great, stay there. If you want to progress this a little bit further, I want you to grab onto your ankle or the outside edge of your foot, and I want you to pull your feet up towards your chest and outward as if you're tying a knot. So we're coming up and out, and you're going to feel that stretch come in a little more intensely. So either one, whichever one works for you, make sure you're being honest with yourself. If you don't need the push today, you just need a gentle stretch, then take it, by all means. It's just you working on your own, feeding yourself what you need, and that is a great thing. So congratulate yourself. That's a win. A couple more deep breaths here. Good, and nice and easy, bring that right foot back down to the floor, uncross your left. Again, give your hips a little bit of a rock side to side, just kind of open up the area, and we are going to cross the right leg over. So right leg comes over nice and tight, knees come up towards your chest. Good. And hugging those knees in towards your chest. If this is good for you, just a little reminder, stay there. If you would like to progress if you would like to progress the stretch a little bit deeper, come on up, grab on to your ankles or the sole of your foot or the arch, wherever you can, and bring those knees up a little bit further towards your chest and pull the feet out as if you're tying a knot. It's the best imagery I can give you. Good. Couple deep breaths here. I'm going to try to stop talking so you guys can just relax. One more breath. And uncross the feet. Good, again. Give those hips a little rock out. You're doing great. One more stretch here for you guys. We're just going to do a very simple figure 4. You're going to cross that left foot right over the knee. Keep that left foot flexed. And then you're going to bring that right knee towards your chest. So you can either grab on behind the thigh or around the knee, whatever works for you. I like to grab behind the knee into my back of my thigh, and you're going to pull that right knee up towards your right shoulder. So you feel a nice big stretch in that back left glute and down the hamstrings. Good. Keep both feet flexed. And take 4 nice deep breaths here. Good. Squeeze a little bit tighter. Amazing. Bring your feet back down towards the floor. A little bit of a shake, open, close. Good. And then we're going to cross the right foot over the left. Keep that right foot flexed. Left comes up, left foot's flexed as well. Grab onto wherever feels good for you. If you need a yoga strap for this to assist you, that's great. One of the key points here too is we don't want to be up and stretching with our shoulders off the ground for this one. This one is aimed to be more of a passive stretch. So we really want to make sure that upper body is relaxed. We're not straining the neck and we're not forcing the shoulders into a bad position. So take a second here, 4 nice deep breaths again. Good. Hug that knee in just a little bit closer. Give yourself a little bit of an extra stretch. And exhale, bring those knees down. Give them a rock back and forth. You can extend the legs out in front of you. Bring the palms of the hands facing up towards the ceiling. Just going into a nice little Shavasana. Taking a second here to tune into the body. Start to kind of feel the change we just initiated, going through all of those different exercises and deep stretches. A little scan over your body, maybe just gently feeling through each muscle, seeing how it feels now that you gave it some extra attention. So taking one last deep breath in together. In through the nose and out through the mouth, making whatever funny sounds you want to make. Nobody can hear you, so with a little smile on your face, feel free to stay here. Take as much time as you need. And there you have it, our first OsteYoga together. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know how it went. Leave a comment below and reach out to me if you have any special requests for the next one. Take care of yourself, guys.